Welcome back. Political analyst Rashad Ritchie, David Johnson joining me now with their views on Tuesday's upcoming runoff races. We're going to talk 6th Congressional District right now, a seat held right now by Karen Handel, once Tom Price joined the Trump administration for a short time. Let's talk about where we see this race going. We've got Lucy McBath.
Right. I think McBath is a remarkable candidate, okay? She's a mother of the movement, had a tragedy of her son being killed simply because he was playing his music too loudly. She got involved in politics through meeting President Barack Obama, and they did the Mothers of the Movement tour. She's not a true progressive in the traditional sense. She's almost like a one-issue candidate, right, where she wants to come in and do something about criminal justice reform and gun reform. And so we'll see how this pans out. She's raised a lot of money to be a non-political starter. And I think she will actually make a big splash.
What do people know about Kevin Abel?
They don't know as much about him. And I think really at this point, McBath has the momentum, the endorsements, and the Democrats would prefer to see her against Karen Handel.
Let's talk about how Karen did taking over for Tom Price. How do you think she did in the district?
She's pleased Republicans. But there's an opening, I think, right now for McBath if we're really seeing a blue wave, if Brian Kemp is weak. Because if you look at the polling, of course, that's a Mitt Romney-type district, not a Donald Trump one. And Brian Kemp polls very poorly among suburban females. The gun issue resonates with a lot of suburban females, and that could give an opening for McBath. Right now, I think Karen Handel's favored, but if we're seeing a blue wave, a district like the 6th is the type of district that will be caught in that blue wave.
And Rashad, you talked about this district, though. It was created as a Republican district.
That's the thing that's hard to overcome. This district was specifically created by the Georgia legislature to be a Republican congressional district. When John Ossoff ran against Karen Handel in that special election, I think that's about as close as you're going to get. I know the conversation with Democrats is the blue wave. There is no blue wave today. If you look at what's been happening, there has been no significant Democratic victory against a Republican in early elections, but you do have Democratic women beating Democratic incumbent men. So if there's a blue wave, it's within the Democratic Party.
Well, let's move into the state school superintendent race, where we're seeing candidates here really going back and forth. And we know education is big right now.
It is.
So how are we seeing this race looking right now?
I think this is one that we're going to see Democrats target. I think this race, also the insurance commissioners, they feel that they can make some inroads. For Democrats, yes, they'd love Stacey Abrams to win, but it doesn't necessarily have to be Stacey Abrams. If they can capture one of the statewide posts, that's a victory for them. One or more than one is a tremendous victory for them. And I think they see superintendent as being one. They view Richard Woods as being a weak incumbent.
I agree, and Woods has been somewhat adversarial to the Republican agenda at times. When you look at statewide offices in Georgia, Democrats hold none. They hold zero. The superintendent's race for this state should be the #2 priority for the Democratic Party of Georgia.
And you talked about the insurance commissioner's race as well. That is another big one folks are going to be looking at because the insurance commissioner holds a major role here in Georgia.
And let's not forget, we have investigations ongoing against the Republican nominee, which have a lot of Republicans worried. Because if there is some weakness with Brian Kemp, and then we have something come out about Jim Beck, that could be the 1-2 blow that could be really tremendously helpful for Democrats.
And it's not a question of if there's negatives. The question is when the Democratic Party would choose to release them. At this stage of the game, the Democratic Party has negatives on every potential opponent. The Republican Party has the same. Now it comes down to when do you release it. Karen, you can't release it too early. You know why? Because people can digest almost anything. You have to release it at a stage of the political game when people will respond to it by way of vote or no vote.
Exactly, and they also have to hope, too, Donald Trump doesn't do something that overshadows everything that you're dumping, because let's not forget, campaigns now have to deal with what's going on nationally, because Donald Trump changes the narrative within days from what we're talking about to something else.
About 30 seconds. Give me your top candidates for winning on Tuesday's primary.
I think,
or runoff election?
right, I think Cagle's done. I think Kemp wins. Excuse me. Yes.
I think it's going to be Kemp and Schaefer both winning on the Republican side.
And what about for, we looking 6th District?
Oh, Macbeth, in her runoff, she's going to win, and I think easily.
And
I think
same for you.
Macbeth wins as
You
well.
guys are agreeing here.
Yes.
Insurance commissioner's race.
Insurance commissioner, I think that's up in the air right now.
Okay.
Much more competitive.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for your time. We
Thank
could
you.
spend the day here talking
Yes.
politics, and we know you have a lot of questions and would love to join in the conversation. So if you have a topic you'd like to see us cover, let us know. Send us an email to publicaffairs@cbs46.com, and be sure to keep it right here on CBS 46 for the runoff election results. You can also follow along on our news app by texting CBS 46 to 23765. It is absolutely free. That's it for this week's edition of Public Affairs on Peach. We'll see you back here next Sunday morning at 11:30 a.m. Thank you again.